Hello everyone, and welcome to the overview here. This is for the research paper in particular, the one that will be embedded in this first Dropbox. The one for week 11 and 12 will just be the overview on the home screen. I'm doing an additional one here because of the change in the assignment. This is just posted here for looks. This is where this overview video will be posted. We're looking at making a slight change to a research paper. There were a number of different issues with some student submissions and things with topics going in so many directions that are not only not part of the assignment itself, but in terms of the intention behind an assignment like that. But beyond that, some students, the points of confusion definitely taking it in directions into areas that there's not a benefit to the assignment, and certainly isn't part of the outcomes and objectives for the course or the assignment. So I've changed this, and as I said before, the other pieces there that were submitted by students receive credit for those when I post final grades. We're not doing anything with those further. If there's something that just conveniently overlapped with what you end up picking for this topic, just fine. But just note, this is a simpler assignment. It's a shorter assignment. It has less research component. It's just focused on an analytic approach to a research topic. So the overview video we posted here, the first components overview, that's talking about these two different pieces of the summary and working thesis, and then primary points of support with works cited, doing them at once in the first week. This research paper is third person, objective, MLA formatted, formal, analytic, not argumentative research paper, including any analysis. That means that there will be no opinions stated on these. You're giving these points as they pop up in the research. The main framing with that will be to stick in that objective viewpoint. Make sure third person is adhered to. This is not a first or second usage, no I, we, or you usage. That should have been starting with all pieces at the beginning of the rhetorical analysis stage. The starting point or question for consideration for these is already given for each. So when we're talking about a probing question, your starting point, you take the topic and you essentially are answering a question about it. Those are already posed for each topic you have to pick from. The topics are down here. I'll get to that in a moment. And the questions you can see are right after the topic listing. For each research paper, for students, select a research topic from the topics for research list below, that's down here, and research that topic in OCC databases. Now, if you're still unfamiliar with this, those of you who have posted and commented things about that, this is completely on you. There have been instructional videos posted for several weeks. There have been parts of your textbook that go over this. I have taken you guys through an intro into the library, into the databases. For all research results, you should be going through our OCC databases, and then after your primary search or searches on whichever topic you select, once you're in the screen of your first search windows and the results there, select from the left-hand side peer-reviewed journals and full text online from the left side of the results page. Click Apply Filters at the bottom of the left for the results. Once you've decided on a topic, download the templates provided below, the summary and working thesis and preliminary points of support and works cited. Complete and submit the templates by this coming Sunday. So those two documents are here and here. You've already seen both of these that were organized for argumentation. They are now changed slightly to be focused just on research. Here are the topics for selection: music therapy, electoral college, health outcomes and environment, scientific literacy, media literacy, daily exercise. The question posed for each one that you are looking to analyze in terms of your outcomes in the research, and again, this is third person objective. We are looking at music therapy. What is it and how does it work? Okay, what is it and how does it work? If in that what is it, I would say in terms of your papers, when you are designing for a minimum of 3 body paragraphs, your focal points there should obviously be some of the benefits and how it works in people's lives, what it's used for and what the outcomes might be, and then how do those things work. So you could have 2 different bodies here, you could have or 2 different areas of bodies, you could have 2 of them focused on different strategies of how they work, or 3, and then 1 or what it is, and then 1 on how it works. 2 on what it is and 1 how it works, or reverse that, or you could have 2 and 2, whatever it ends up being. You're looking at a minimum of 5 paragraphs, an intro, 3 bodies, and a conclusion. The Electoral College, what is it and how does it work? Same type of thing. Health outcomes and environment. What environmental factors lead to poor health outcomes? None, or note on here, the word environment does not simply refer to common conceptions of the natural environment or biological ecosystems. We're not just talking about the environment in terms of the trees, the wind, the water, and rain. We are talking about environments that we live in, our own ecosystems. This can also be family environment, the economic environment, things like that that lead to poor different health outcomes, right? Health outcomes in the environment. What environmental factors lead to poor health outcomes? Things that we can measure through science that show what poor health outcomes are what result in poor health outcomes from individual environment. If you don't understand that, if it's not something you're already aware of, how it's discussed and things, either read through the literature and decide a direction you want to go, otherwise avoid that one. Scientific literacy. What is scientific literacy and why does it matter? I think very clearly you could do a brief overview in your intro on this topic and then have a first body paragraph explaining in detail what scientific literacy is, and then give 2 or 3 other body paragraphs that explain why it matters that people have scientific literacy. And then media literacy, same thing. What is it and why is it important? In terms of media literacy, there's a huge focal point now to help people deal with understanding mis and disinformation, the difference there, and how to do things like cross-check analysis to see where things come from, how they're being stated, and why. But you are looking at what it is and why it's important in a general sense. And then daily exercise. What are the most significant benefits of daily exercise on both physical and mental health? These are things that have been studied a great deal, and there have been a lot of breakthroughs on foundational research, and then also what used to be foundational research and now is changing some things currently because of knowing how significant some of these things are. Now, in each of those topics can be searched through the OC databases by using terms prior to the colon, meaning you can look through music therapy, the Electoral College, health outcomes and environment, scientific literacy, and media literacy. You can even put in with these scientific literacy and why it matters, but I would start with just scientific literacy, and you'll get some of those things. Then read through some of the research after you've selected for peer review, and full text online available. The component pieces are down here, assignments and documents. Download both of these and complete them for the assignment. The first piece here, we've had students have already looked at a version of this. Same layout as the one for argumentation, just slightly tailored with the way that it's stated. Remember, these are full sentences, and you're essentially designing what can become your intro paragraph if this is done correctly. Okay, sticking with those topics in third person objective, you shouldn't have any issue. I still do reserve the right to reject any topics or submissions that come in that a student is using to gear in a direction other than what is intended with the assignment, and have them placed under review for further consideration. Okay, I reserve that in terms of the assignment itself. Now, this is going to be your overall details here of the topic itself, leading with the working thesis. Most of you won't have to change that working thesis at any time in the future, but we'll know once we review those in total. And then the primary points of support, again, we're looking at what will become the topic sentences, potentially of body paragraphs. I have 3 listed here. If you see yourself going into a 4th body, by all means add a topic sentence 4 and give me that as well. If you see that you might need one more, I don't want students going too far beyond that. This is intended to be a shorter paper, just as a brief research report on a single topic. Then remember, once you give me those topic sentences on there, you should have a minimum of 5 MLA formatted peer-reviewed full-text available sources from OCC databases, peer-reviewed articles that you're using as references. So once you've completed writing these out, remember, when you're writing in here, these are going to expand down in the category, so I don't know where this will end up. But once you've completed those, take this down, make it the heading of the next page, and you will start from your left-hand margin, giving me at least 5 peer-reviewed sources that you're starting your research with. They must all be from OCC databases. They must, again, be all peer-reviewed, and they must be on topic for what you're researching, and they must be full text available online so that we can all review the same exact thing. Now, with these citations, make sure you remember that in through the databases, if you're using sourcing through the school, if you go to library and you go here and you type in something along the lines of media literacy, and we get these results. And I go down the left-hand side and I say peer-reviewed and full text and apply filters. If I'm going through and I'm going to be looking at one of these, does media literacy help identification of fake news? Informational literacy is what we used to refer to all of it. Now, media is an additional add-on component. If you end up using something like this, the full text is available that you can read and review, and then up citing your paper. Go here for the citation, 8th edition for MLA, and you'll note that you should have the DOI listed here at the bottom if this is done correctly. You would take that, copy the citation clipboard, or you can do a copy and paste and put it onto your page for this peer-reviewed source. Remember, these need to be alphabetized, and every line after the first should be a hanging indent. Remember also that what we're working on here is only based off of the information from these databases. Do not want outside sourcing. I'm not approving anything like that at this time. Make sure that we're very clear on those. And then make sure that when you're going through these, you follow all these basic directions. The beginning of your textbooks refer to the process of addressing topic, angle, and purpose of any subject. Determine what the genre and style should be. In this instance, the same approach will help you to formulate and organize the information necessary to complete the summary template. You'll also have the majority of information that you need to be making your intro paragraph as much of the information transfers to the general specific layout, and then going for the primary points of support, preliminary work cited. We're looking at things also that will go into your work for your paper. Just note that where you're moving forward and you start organizing quotes and supporting material, I will not be allowing block quotes on something this short, so try to look for quotes and passages that will support your ideas that are 3 lines or less, and we will have minimums and maximums on those in the outlines. They are listed already here in detail. If you go down to the bottom, basic requirements for components of the final paper, that's what we'll be building to. This week is going to be the summary, the summary and working thesis, primary points of support, and preliminary work cited. Next week will be the outline. The week after that will be the essay itself. Okay? This is the assignment component, and this is what everyone should be working on from this point forward, picking from one of these topics here and going into that research. Again, shorter paper, less qualifications and requirements. Five sources is the minimum, but that's not difficult to find in a single afternoon. Probably an hour of decent research, going through to find some preliminaries, and a few other hours poking through some of those and reading the abstracts and trying to understand the content therein and whether or not it's useful for your paper. All right. Best of luck to everyone.